join Robert Buckland now, who's the Tory MP for South Swindon. He's a former Justice Secretary. And hello, Robert, lovely to see you. The last time I saw you was singing God Save the King. But now let's have a chat about something rather more serious, because what is your reaction to this extraordinary news that Levi Bellfield, Levi Bellfield, of all people, a serial killer of young girls, is now going to be allowed to marry in prison, Robert?
Well, the whole thing, frankly, is macabre. This is a man who committed most heinous crimes, who has been, let's not forget, sentenced to a whole life tariff. That means a whole of his life imprisonment being served behind bars. So the concept of this individual marrying somebody and having married life is, well, frankly, absurd, bearing in mind where he is. He's in a high-security prison where he belongs. And I think there are real questions here about the safety of the woman who says she wishes to marry this man, and indeed the absurdity of a position whereby somebody like this, one of about 60 people kept in whole life tariffs, are able to even contemplate getting married. The theatre of the absurd, Camilla.
Yes. Let's just remind GB viewers and indeed listeners of Bellfield's appalling crimes. He's currently serving 2 whole life sentences for the murders of Millie Dowler in 2002, Marsha McDonnell in 2003 and Amélie Delagrange in 2004, as well as the attempted murder of Kate Sheedy in the same year. What on earth can be done to stop this? I also read, Robert, that he's received 30 grand in legal aid.
Yes, astonishing. There will be times when, for example, if a prisoner perhaps is they got the date of their release wrong, they need some advice and legal help as to get that right. Okay. But this sort of scenario, again, just beggars belief. It does appear at the moment that the law and the Marriages Act, which governs marriages, does allow this. I don't think, in all good faith, that the people who passed the law 40 or so years ago ever imagined that it would apply in circumstances like this. Quite rightly, the government is taking action to ban marriages and civil partnerships for prisoners on whole life tariffs. The law is before Parliament now, and it will have an effect on current sentences. So if the law could be passed as quickly as possible in the next few months, it may well apply in Bellfield's case. I just wonder, Camilla, whether this is an attempt by Bellfield once again to be the centre of attention. This is an evil individual who clearly likes exerting control, particularly on women and vulnerable people. And I just think this is just a continuation of a macabre display by this individual that is deeply unedifying and undermines, understandably, public confidence in the system. It's just a dreadful situation.
So, Robert, I just want to ask you one more question about Colin Pitchfork. Obviously, there's been a lot of reporting of him and now this idea that he's going to be released. Do we think that's a good idea? Obviously responsible for the rape and murder of 2 young women. Pitchfork, should he be among the public? He's still a risk to the public, isn't he?
Well, I last time he was released, I objected strongly and asked the parole board to reconsider. He was released, and guess what? Within a couple of months, he was recalled to prison because he breached his licence conditions. Yes. I am amazed that so shortly after that, it's only about a year or 18 months, here he is being allowed to be released once again. I am very much on the side of the victims' families and indeed the wider community, particularly in the Leicestershire area, in having grave concern about the release of a man who not just murdered twice in horrific circumstances, but breached his licence conditions when he was given that chance only 18 months ago. I don't agree with this at all.
So, Robert Buckland, thank you for your clarity and candour on these issues. Lovely to speak to you this morning.